So I launched my art gallery, Apoorva's Art Gallery, as an online platform for me to raise funds by selling my art for charity. And through it, so far, I've been able to support like so many organizations.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Prodigy Talks. And today we're back again after about a week to 10 days of sabbatical for me. I've been on the road. And today we have a young prodigy who's in high school, Apoorva Panidapu. Hello, Apoorva. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm really honored and excited to be here. And huge thanks to you and GCP for inviting me.
Oh, it's the least we can do. And we've been planning this, and I think there have been some time clashes that have been happening. And then I know it's 1 p.m. in India for us right now. We're 5 minutes behind schedule, but it is 11:30 in the night for you.
Yeah, it is. It's not too late for me because I'm a high schooler, but it is what it is.
So what is late then?
That's a good question. It depends on the day. Yeah, I probably like 1 or 2, depending on how much work I have.
But it's 11:30 on a Sunday for you, right?
Yeah, so I guess like the work week does start tomorrow, but it's all right.
All right, good. So just tell us a little about you. Tell us, where you're taking this call from. And you said you're a high schooler, of course. And then just a brief for the audience to understand who you are and what you do.
I'm Apoorva. I'm 15. I'm in San Jose, California right now. And in a nutshell, I'm an aspiring mathematician, artist, public speaker, writer, and I'm also a passionate advocate for youth and gender minorities in STEM.
Okay. I'm going to have a tough time remembering all of
that. I do too.
Right. No, but that's wonderful. See, I see a lot of people with a very structured trait, a personality trait, and I see them in mathematics, but I never see them in creative arts, which you're mathematician plus artist. That must be quite a combination for somebody.
Yeah, it's really fun because I get to pull from all my different interests and bring a new perspective to things. It is a little bit hard to find a community, but it's wonderful to have people to talk with math about and people to talk with art about. And definitely in my art, my mathematics background helps, especially when I'm drawing realistically. And in math, it helps to think creatively a lot of the time. So it's really wonderful to be able to be interested in both.
You're talking about you're a gender equality advocate, and I see that you won a lot of volunteer service awards from the president. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've gotten the President's Volunteer Service Award 4 times in recognition of my volunteering hours and service that I do. And I'm really passionate about gender equality, especially in STEM, because it's still such a huge problem. And growing up, I faced the same things that girls and gender minorities still do today. Like I remember in one of my first math competitions, I met a guy who basically told me that my gender meant that I couldn't do math, which is, discouraging for a girl. And I don't want
that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I don't want any other person to face this because it's not fair, right? In math or STEM, nothing matters except your problem solving abilities and how passionate you are about it, right? Gender doesn't play a role.
It doesn't. It shouldn't. No, I'm glad. I'm glad we're talking about this. You're just 15, but the one that we sort of recognize you for is people call you a human calculator. And that is what got you onto the Prodigy Awards. That's the one that we went after, and then eventually we knew you do a lot more things. And it's fabulous. So is there anything that you're more passionate about the other and less passionate about something else? Or you have equal passion for everything that you do?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about everything I do. I really owe that to my parents because they've given me the opportunity to pursue all my passions, and I'm really lucky to have that. I do have to say it's really hard to balance what I give time to because I just like so many things and I want to learn about them and spend time with them. And there's only 24 hours in a day. What are you gonna do? But yeah, I love everything I do.
Now that is something I think the greatest difference between one person to the other is how good we use our time. And that's what differentiates the likes of Gates from us and Musk's from us, So I wouldn't complain about, you having the ability to do so much. And kudos to your parents for letting you be, and I think that at least that way you're not spending time fighting somebody else's premonitions about you and you're living your life. So can you tell us a little about these wonderful parents? What do they do? And yeah, and do you
Yeah,
have any
so
siblings?
yeah, I have an older sister. She's a junior at Berkeley right now. And my parents are actually both involved in STEM. They're both engineers. And I think that's definitely contributed to them encouraging my love for math, whereas I know sometimes parents don't encourage it, especially in girls. So I'm really grateful for them. They're always so supportive of everything I pursue and everything I do. And I'm very thankful because they also actively help me look for opportunities, and they take me to competitions across the nation and to all these classes when I was younger. So I owe everything that I have today to them. Yeah.
Wonderful. And how long has it been since you all moved to the United States, if I may ask?
So I was born in San Jose. So I've been here my whole life, but I think my parents came around 99. Yeah.
Wow. That's just about when I was 10. You can do the math, of course. All right, so it's wonderful. So your parents now live in San Jose. I mean, you all live in San Jose. So they're from an engineering background, and your sister, she's a Berkeley. So I'm assuming it's got to be creative side.
She's actually a chemistry major, but she also has a creative side. She likes
Yeah.
photography and
So
art too. Yeah.
right. So who I shouldn't be asking this. I'm never going to pit a sister against another one. Now I'm going to hold myself back. We'll have that conversation later. Right. So again, so when did parents discover this sort of mathematical stride in you, and how did they sort of nurture it at this young age?
So when I was younger, I always really liked problem solving and math. I had a love for numbers from a really young age. I think if I had to pinpoint a point in time, it would be when I was 6. I started learning how to use the abacus, which is an ancient calculation tool. Um, and in that, I think they recognized how passionate I was and just how excited I was to learn more about not only math, but everything around me. And so they've definitely been a supporting force and supporting voice by my side, and they push me to try new things, and they really support me. And yeah, I think especially in elementary school, I went to normal public school through 5th grade. But they recognized that I wasn't feeling challenged. I basically went to school to have fun with my friends. I don't really recall any specific learning things that I'm really interested in. So they recognized that, and they decided to homeschool me. And so I started taking college classes from 6th grade on.
Nice. And which school sort of do you go to now?
Right. So it's sort of a complicated situation. It's very hard to explain to someone on the street.
We have nothing
But
but time.
yeah. So in 6th grade, I started doing online school because I thought it was a good alternative. Paired with classes at the local community college. I started out with calculus and things like that. And then I felt online school also was a little bit too strict for me because I'm a very free flowing person. I like to decide how I use my time. So after a couple years of online school, we decided to just fully do college classes. So I take a conglomerate of classes from a conglomerate of places. Currently, I take classes from San Jose State, and then some in Columbia, and then some at Johns Hopkins, because everything's online now. I can do whatever. So it's been a really great experience.
Now, you'd be surprised because we were working on something where we said the days of the traditional schooling is over, and you could do a lot of passive learning that you don't have to go do an active learning at school, because those are things that you would consume from your daily life and you'll know how to do it. And you'll have to go to sort of specialist centers to pick up a specific skill set of interest to you or passion, to you. And that is what we think the future of education is going to be. And sort of the pandemic has put all of this on steroids and brought
Yeah.
it up to speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now people know that they don't have to follow a system per se, and they can sort of plug and play into multiple systems. So America being a little more advanced in terms of the whole tech space, I think it should be more convenient for you. But a lot of kids in India are now looking at doing that, and I think there's no better example than you. So please go do it. Don't hold back. If you don't have to go to normal schooling, I think the biggest benefit of normal schooling is socializing,
Yes,
where you go
definitely.
meet your friends, you have human contact there, you understand the dynamics of saying no and yes and all that. So it's wonderful. Now, can I sort of dwell further into your education a bit here, right?
Mhm.
Now, you've got this very free sort of paradigm here where you're plugging into multiple systems, right? Is there anybody guiding you in saying, hey, you got to do this first before you can do that? Or you sort of learning here? What's going on there?
Well, it's a very like try it and see how it goes process. It's like touch and go. But I do value mentors a lot in my life. They're a big, like mentors and teachers, they have a huge influence on me, and they really, that's how I'm being shaped in terms of my interests. And also, of course, my parents, they help me along, and we decide what we think would be the next step, or what's working and what's not. So we're really like, we make sure that we always communicate about how things are going and just check in with each other. Yeah.
So, and now that you are sort of plugged into a lot of these more advanced ecosystems like San Jose State, you've got Columbia, you've got, I don't know, Berkeley maybe. So, sometimes it does get very confusing when you have specialists saying, you should spend more time on this, you should spend more time on this. And how do you sort of come to a decision at that point?
Yeah, so one of the caveats of having a lot of mentors is sometimes they tell you different things. And of course, they all have a wonderful opinion, but it's important to know that this is your life, and it's up, like,
Yeah.
you have to take your interest and what you want to do, like, as your number one consideration and priority. So I always consider, like, what would be best for my schedule, what would be best for my mental health, and what do I genuinely want to do. And when I make my decisions, I have to weigh all of these opinions. Most importantly, I have to take into account like how I will handle it in the future. And so I think it's really important to realize that you are your own person and that your decision affects you first and foremost. So make sure that you think for yourself.
And to a lot of people, listening to this and parents out there, I think a sense of identity crisis that this generation has, the younger kids don't have. So as long as they can realize where the true potential is and find their identity, you should let them go after it.
Mhm.
So can I sort of we run multiple institutions in India, and I keep telling parents when they come and tell me what's best for my children. I say I can never do that. Maybe you tell us what's good for you, and we'll tell you if we have the right support system for that. So with what you're doing, I think you've set up an art gallery, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And how did you dwell into the whole art space, and when did this art gallery come about? Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so when I was 12, I really like desperately wanted to find my own way to give back to the community. And I remember in 4th grade, I had this really wonderful volunteering activity that I did in my classroom, which is that we made these little crafts and we sold them at the family fair in school. And then with that, we raised money to help impoverished villages around the world. And so I decided, well, I have all these paintings lying around. I might as well paint for a cause, and it's a way to put something I'm really passionate about into like an act of service, and that was just like the perfect idea for me. So I launched my art gallery, Apoorva's Art Gallery, as an online platform for me to raise funds by selling my art for charity. And through it, so far, I've been able to support like so many organizations, including including underprivileged children in Africa through Save the Children, and a summer camp for minorities in STEM called Beam. And over the summer, I was able to raise money for Black Lives Matter funds and organizations. So it's been such an opportunity for me to give back to wherever I think it's really needed.
Lovely. So as we're talking, I can see somebody posted about the art gallery. It's called apoorvaartgallery.com. And for those of you who are looking to spell it, it's Apoorva art. So it's rtgallery.com, right? So it's on the live Facebook live chat window right now for any of you who's looking to, check out the gallery. Please do so. I'm assuming Uma Achyuta should be your
She's my mom.
mother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, mom, high five. Good job. At least we know you're watching this. So
yeah, I think she's right downstairs watching. Probably with my dad.
So I can just see as soon as we spoke about the art gallery. Oh, mom says hi. Nice. Now we are having a conversation. Good. So just can you? So do you have any art pieces around you, or do you just curate art, or do you do art yourself?
Yeah. So I do a couple of things. Sometimes, like, I take custom art requests. So if you want me to paint like a special picture to you, I can paint that, and I can add my own style to it. I have my portfolio as well that I display, and then I also just do art for fun, and I sell that as well. But I do have some pieces here. I think most of them are for my portfolio because I've sold the rest of them. But
lovely. Now let's take a look.
So this one is from my portfolio last year.
Nice.
I have a proclivity to do portraits with sort of an abstract style. So you'll see sort of that theme in these pieces I show.
Are these some of the Mayans and the Indians? Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yeah, so I do have a lot of pieces featuring Indian people because I'm all for diversity. And I notice in art a lot of times like white skinned people are featured, but there should be a lot more diversity in art as well. So I try and include that as well. Then I have another one right here. And yeah.
Well, the video stock, can you show it again, please? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, so can I ask? So what is the specific style that you've got going on there? Do you have a style?
Yeah, so since I'm still growing, I'm only 15, I'm really just exploring a lot. I'm exploring a lot of different styles. But I think like even when you're starting out, every artist has a comfort zone. And for me, that's with palette knives. If you see, there's a lot of textures in my paintings, and that's created with palette knives. And it's a sort of like abstract style with a realistic grounding, but I'm still exploring, so we'll see.
Lovely. No, any other day I would have said, "Hey, can we get a painting of me?" But I don't want to be too narcissistic here. So let's. Now, lovely. So I like what you're doing now. You've got math going on, and you've got arts going on there, and then you've got volunteering going on, and you are supporting a lot of other organizations with your advocacy for gender equality and so forth. Now, where's Apoorva going to be in 5 years from now? Do you have a place that you want to get to, or you just want to enjoy the journey and take as much as you can with you? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of both. I think it's important to have goals, but it's also important to be open to exploring. So I sort of just want to see where life takes me. I definitely I'm planning on going to college, and in the future, one of my main goals that I'm most passionate about is pursuing a PhD in math. But past that, I don't really know what I want to do as a career. And I think it's that there's no perfect position out for me yet. And I kind of like the idea of carving my own position in the world that, fits me and all my interests perfectly.
I think you should do that. Because, starting out fairly young in business, this is exactly the sort of question that we keep getting asked. And every time we sort of pursue something else, they'll be like, "Hey, what's going to happen to the other one?" I said, when you reach a certain point, you establish systems, and the system takes over the good work you've done. The point I'm trying to make here with you is I'm sure you would sort of nurture all passions equally, because in the conversation, at least I've had so far, you've not preferred one over the other.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I'm refraining from calling you the human calculator, because I think you should not be branded just the human calculator. It's a nice name to have in the media right now, but I think you're a lot more than that. So now I see a few awards that are very, very credible. So you've got the Spirit of Ramanujam Fellowship.
Yes. So the Spirit
and when did that? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. For anyone who doesn't know, the Spirit of Ramanujan Fellowship is an initiative created by Dr. Ken Ono, who I actually worked with this past summer. And the goal of it is to support talented, young, aspiring mathematicians globally. And there's a lot of hidden talent out there, and that's what the initiative aims to find. And personally, the fellowship helped me attend Canada USA Math Camp, where I had the chance to go deeper into a lot of like beautiful mathematics and with wonderful people who also love math. So I'm really thankful for the fellowship. And if anyone who's watching is also a young person passionate about math, make sure to check it out. I think you'd really be
You
interested.
guys do check it out. It's a Spirit of Ramanujan Fellowship. If at all we can, I'm going to ask the GCP Awards team to put that also in the chat box. So if somebody's looking for it, it's easier for them to find. And so you've received the President's Volunteer Service Award several times. Can I ask how many times?
So it's 4, not including this year, because I don't think it's officially come out this year.
So we're getting some sort of early insight into what's going to happen.
Yeah. So right. Yeah, 4,
remember,
hopefully
people,
5.
If you heard it first, it's on our show. Right, so 4, not including this year. So it's good. And tell us a little more about that. How many people receive it? What happens there?
So I'm not exactly sure about the stats, but basically how it works is it's based on the number of hours you volunteered / like did service in some way. I think the hours cutoffs are something like 100 and 250 for like gold, silver, and bronze. But I don't know the exact numbers.
Okay, so there's a gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a big fan of numbers except where, money matters are involved. So that's the basic thing, you need for business. So I've got something else for you, right? So I see you've also written a few, you've written quite some. What do you write? I didn't explore that side of you.
Yeah, so I really love writing. I think it's a great medium to express yourself, but I especially use it to make math accessible for everyone. So recently, just a couple months ago, I've started writing for the local newspaper, math articles. My column is called Gems in STEM, and the goal is to make like STEM topics that usually people are too scared to explore, or like they've just never seen it before, to make it accessible and fun and lighthearted for everyone. So far, I've written about things like primes, an introduction to knot theory, partitions, the history of zero, the history of the abacus. And I think it should be, I write it to be accessible to most audiences. So if anyone would be interested in anything, you can check that out. I publish them on Medium as well. So they're pretty fun, I think. So
I'm sure they must be fun. Right. And so let's see if we can get some of those articles also up on the chat box. And I'm not going to be looking at Mom's posting. Yes, Mom's posted. Good. She's 3 on a row. Kudos to you, Mom. Let's give you a high five. You can give me a high five, virtual one. I'll take it. Yeah. Boom. Your mom's like, yeah, saving us all the time. Right. That's a proud mom there.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. No, I love it. So, listen, you being a prodigy is something that we have 100 kids a year from thousands of applications. What does it feel like to be called a prodigy?
I'm really honored to have been one of the Global Child Prodigies, and it's really inspiring, to see all these young kids who are so passionate and driven about, their chosen pursuits. But at the same time, I'm a little bit hesitant about the label prodigy, just because there are so many kids there with so many talents, and some of those talents aren't necessarily recognized as academic or even artistic, but they're still talented in their own way. I think we just haven't discovered it, and there's also so many hidden prodigies, so-called. I think every kid has something to contribute, but I am still honored to be one of them. Yeah.
Lovely. And see, the idea for Global Child Prodigy Awards is not to be mainstream. It's to be sort of necessary, because I feel sometimes those who think radical are the more necessary ones. And a kid who went about writing something very simple was tagged a prodigy, because we felt with the limitations that the kid performed at is what made him or her a prodigy. So, if anybody out there you think, somebody deserves to be part of the valuation for the Prodigy Awards, do not hesitate to send us an email, to get onto gcpawards.com and leave us a post, and we'll come back to you. We'll evaluate, in as fair as we can be, because there is a great amount of perspective involved in this, but we try to be as fair as we can be. So get on the site, do apply, and do sort of recommend as well. But having called you a prodigy, and I think it's not about what you've done as much as what you're going to do, right? Because a sign of promise is why we call somebody a prodigy.
Yeah.
And I see a great amount of promise in you personally, and I think you're on a stride here. Do whatever you have to do, and we'll continue to watch your journey, and we'll continue to support it in any way you can. Is there any sort of social media links you'd like to tell people for them to follow? Because I think some people out there would love to, continue to stay updated with all that you do. Anything that you can give us, please.
Basically, if you search up Apoorva Panidapu on any platform, it should come up. I'm sure my mom will also put some links in the chat.
Let's go check it out. Has mom done that? Yeah, your mom, you're behind schedule a little. So
for my art gallery, the Instagram is Apoorva Art Gallery. But yeah, if you just search up my name, it should come up.
Lovely. And for those of you out there spelling it, it's Apoorva, Apoorva, and Panidapu. All right, so good. Lovely. So one last thing before I let you go, and we're sort of reaching the 30-minute mark here. I think retaining people's attention more than 30 minutes is quite a challenge. So
yeah,
even 2 minutes, trust me. So if you stuck around with us, we have a surprise for you. That's when they stay on. So now, your parents, I'm sure they've been like rock solid in giving you all the support you deserve, and sort of putting you on the right path whenever you sort of falter. What would you like to tell all those confused parents out there who are looking at you and saying, what can I take from this? What can I take from this conversation? Is there anything you'd like to tell them?
Yeah. So I think it's just stop looking for the perfect education path. Like there's no perfect path for any child. Well, there is a optimal path, but it's not one that you can just ask without context or without knowing your kid. You need to just be really in tune with what they're interested in. And I think one of the most important things is communication. Communication. That's what me and my parents value, because we have to be open about what I'm interested in and what they think is a good idea for me. And if you have communication, then you're all set. Like, because you can only do what you think is the best choice for the next step. And I think it's just unnecessary to look for a perfect ideal path, because some things work and some things don't, and you just have to try. And in terms of STEM, encourage your kids to do STEM no matter their gender, or not even STEM. Encourage them to do whatever they're passionate about, if it's art or if it's science or anything, and just really help them grow as a person and as whatever they want to be, and be there for them. Yeah.
Lovely. So for parents out there, hear them out, and
yeah.
I think that's the most important thing that you can take out of this conversation. Just hear them out. You might not agree with it. Sorry, no, go on.
Yeah. I remember a quote I once saw in the halls of my elementary school. It was something like, listen to the little things your child tells you, because otherwise, if you don't, when they're older, they won't tell you the big things, because the whole time everything was big things for them, right? Because everything they tell you, it takes a little bit of courage to tell your parents and to be honest with them. So you have to listen to them, because, they're sharing what they think, and their opinions matter too.
Yeah, the worlds get bigger and bigger, and things do not seem the same. So might as well be a part of it when it's smaller, right?
Yeah.
So to all of you out there, Apoorva, it was lovely talking to you.
You too.
And I know
you're cutting out a bit
already. The other thing I'm cautious about, before mom walks into.
Okay. Hello? Yeah. Okay. You're good now. Right. You're just cutting out.
So I was saying, it was lovely talking to you, and I'm also a little cautious about the time that's turning out to be 12 in the midnight for you. And before mom walks into the room and says it's bedtime, I think I'm trying to be a little safe and step out of the call. Right. So nice talking to you. You're a wonderful, wonderful young kid, and I wish you all luck. GCP wishes you all luck, and we continue to watch your journey, and hope you continue to inspire us as you always have. Right.
Thank
all
you
the best
so much.
To you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really glad that we had this chat. You too.
Lovely.
Have a wonderful week.
Lovely. And to all of you out there, thanks for tuning in. I know we've shifted a little bit of the schedule to a Monday morning here because we've got some time clashes with our prodigies across the world. We might not be on a perfect schedule like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as we used to do before, because I've got a bit of travel assignments going on here and there. The next talk will be on Wednesday, and subsequently the other talk will be on Saturday. If at all there are any changes, we'll keep you updated on GCP Awards and the Global Child Prodigy Facebook page. Do follow us. This video is going to be available on YouTube as well. And, do continue to support us. And if there's any prodigy out there that deserves a recognition, do shoot out a mail and we'll try and see if we can get them on the platform. All the best, everybody. Y'all take care there. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.